6 days ago, I decided to resubscribe to TBC Classic. I haven't played this expansion in around 3 to 4 months, and I decided to boost the character to 58 to see how fast I could catch up to level 70, but also get some decent gear. In Classic, I've always been playing a mage, but in retail, I always play a retro paladin. As I'm preparing for Wrath of the Lich King, and because I'm planning to main a paladin in Wrath of the Lich King, that's the character I also decided to boost. The first thing that I noticed was that the level 58 booster gear was really awful. Most of the times I would struggle when I had to kill one target at a time. The good thing, however, about the gear being so bad was that every time I did a quest, I would get a big upgrade. At the same time, the leveling experience was amazing. I never had to do stuff all by myself, so every time there was a group quest or just a difficult quest, I could find other people who struggled with the same one. So when I was leveling all the way up to 70, I didn't do this all by myself. For the first couple of levels, I decided to do all the quests in Hellfire. This would allow me to get a lot of reputation with Honor Hold. If I was playing Horde, it would be Thrallmar. The reason why I would like to hit Honored with Honor Hold is because when I leave this zone and when I come back here at 70, I could easily buy a blue PvP gear. And even if you try to do PvE, this gear will still be decent for you to get into heroics and dungeons. By the time that I hit level 61, so after doing a lot of dungeons in Hellfire but also all the quests, then I would head to Sankamarsh. In Sankamarsh there will be a lot of different quests, and most of these quests will also grant you reputation with Cenarian Expedition. This is another faction in TBC that you need to focus on. When you reach Honored with this faction, then you can also buy some blue level 70 PvP pieces. As I'm planning to main a retro paladin, I even had to focus on more reputation and try to hit revert in order to get my head enchant. Therefore, I had to do as many quests and dungeons with this faction in order to get the reputation by the time that I hit level 70. This would allow me to get experience and reputation at the same time, else I would just have to come back here at level 70 and then I would waste a lot of time. If you for example plan to main a healer at level 70, then I would recommend you to focus on Hellfire reputation. So when you go to Hellfire, you would try to do as many dungeons all the way up to Honored. The low level dungeons will not grant you more reputation than up to Honored. So when you're Honored, then you could start doing the quest in Hellfire, and that would allow you to pretty much reach revert. If you do this, then you also save a lot of time. Another thing that I also recommend you to check is where you can get reputation with each faction. It's not always only in one zone. For example, outside Shattered City, I can also get reputation with Cenarian Expedition. So all over Outland, you can pretty much get reputation with the faction that you need, just make sure to look up all the quests. You can for example find this on different guides on Wowhead. As I'm trying to rush to level 70, but also to min-max my reputation, then I would try to find a mage that was boosting in Slave Pens. Slave Pens is a normal dungeon in Sankamarsh. When you do this dungeon, you grant reputation with Cenarian Expedition, and this works all the way up to Honored. So by the time that I reach Honored reputation, then I could start doing the quest in Sankamarsh to min-max. By the time that I hit level 64, I also decided to go to Shattered City to choose between Eldor and Squires. If you have chosen to become an Eldor, you can hand in fellow marmons for reputation. These are purchased on Auction House for around 7 to 9 gold each. If you have chosen Squires over Eldor, then instead of handing in fellow marmons, then you will have to hand in Arcane Tomes. Every time you hand in one of these, you will get a bit of reputation. I bought more than 100 of these because I would like to reach Exalted with this faction. The reason for this is because when you reach Exalted, you can also buy a blue shoulder enchant, and this is pretty much BIS for all classes in the game. It's not mandatory to reach Exalted before you hit level 70, because you cannot use these shoulder enchants before you're level 70 anyway. The average price to reach Exalted is around 1000 gold. This will definitely be worth it, as you can also buy some blue and epic rewards from the faction. The rewards will not be the same for Eldor and Squires, so make sure to check these before you choose a faction. Another thing that I also decided to do was to head back to vanilla content. In Eltrik Mountains I could find these quest givers, and here you can pick up a few quests for Eltrik Valley. This is a battleground that you can for example do between level 61 to 70. Another reason for me doing this is because I can get experience when I do these quests, but also honor at the same time. But why would you like to focus on getting honor before you hit level 70? And why would you like to do this in case you just plan to do PvE? Well, with the honor, you can instantly buy epic rewards by the time that you hit level 70. And if you can purchase a few of these epic rewards, then you can easily get into high level dungeons or maybe even heroics. I'm not saying that you should spam these battlegrounds, but just make sure to try to do the daily one to get some more honor, some BG marks and some experience. And in the weekends, you should definitely also pay attention to what is the weekly BG, because the weekly BG will grant you a lot more honor when you complete this. When you reach level 65, then I also recommend you to head to Ring of Blood in Liberand. Here you need to assemble a 5-man group and then you can do a few group quests. When you have completed all of these, you will get a lot of experience, probably around 2 to 2.5 bars. You also get a lot of gold, and when you complete the final task, then you will also be able to choose a blue reward. You will be able to choose between one of these 6 rewards. There's going to be pretty much something for any class, and definitely something that will also make you able to level a bit faster. As I was level 65, and every time I didn't want to quest, then I could also find a few mages that was boosting in Shadow Liberand. In Shadow Liberand you need to be level 65, and whenever you get boosted here, you also get reputation with Lower City. Because this dungeon is a high level dungeon, then you will get reputation with Lower City all the way up to Exalted. And as a Retro Paladin, I need to reach Exalted, as there's going to be an epic reward that I need. Of course, if you don't have a lot of gold, then this is not going to be an option. The reason why I can afford to do this is because I've always invested my gold. For example, in Vanilla I invested for Burning Crusade, and this made me more than 50,000 gold. And I'm already doing this for Wrath of the Lich King, so I never have to farm gold. I'm already posting some of these items that I'm investing into, and you can find these on my channel. And I will also continue to post more of these videos in the future, so stay tuned. Else you could always head to Shattered City, and in the Lower City part you can pick up different quests that grant you reputation with this faction. You can also head outside Shattered City, where you can find different quest locations. Another thing that I started to focus on by the time that I hit level 68 was my Black Temple attunement. I know I will not be able to do Black Temple by the time that I hit level 70, but by doing this at level 68, I could focus on the attunement part and still get experience at the same time. Where you pick up the first quest for the attunement depends on the faction, so if you chose Eldor or Squires. In Shadowmoon Valley, Squires and Eldor will be able to pick up the first quest at these locations. As I was also level 68, I could now also pick up a few quests for the dungeon Shadow Liberand, so I assembled the 5-man group to complete all these quests. By doing these quests before I hit level 70, I will of course get a bit of experience, but I will also be guaranteed 2 different blue rewards, because each quest will give me 1 blue reward, and both of these will be decent even at level 70. Right next to Shadow Liberand, you could also do the dungeon Zedic Halls. If you do this, you will also be guaranteed at least 2 blue rewards. At this point, I almost reached Exalted with Lower City, so I decided to just do a few more quests to finish the task. As I was still not revered with Cenarian Expedition, I decided to assemble a 5-man group and do Steam Walls. Steam Walls is a dungeon in Sangarmarsh where you can continue getting reputation with Cenarian Expedition even when you have reached Honored. When we killed the final boss, both of the Beastlord items dropped, and the hunter was so happy. But the main reason why I like to do this dungeon is because whenever you kill the trash monsters, there's a chance that you will find this quest item. And this quest item will start a repeatable quest. You hand in the quest to this NPC in Sangarmarsh, and when you do this, you will also be able to pick up a follow-up. This follow-up will tell you to deliver a Coilfang armament. This you probably found when you did Steamwalled. If you didn't find one of these, then you can always head to Auction House where you can purchase them. I usually pay around 1 to 1.5 gold each. Therefore, I also bought around 100 of these, because at this point I needed a lot of reputation to reach a reward. Because this quest is repeatable, then every time you hand in one of these, you will usually get 75 reputation. Because I play a human, I get additional 10%. Because I reach reward, I can also buy the heroic key. So by the time that I hit level 70 and I start doing heroics, I can jump right into this. If I didn't reach reward, I would not be able to do any Coilfang dungeons on heroic mode. Next, I just had to reach level 70. And if you haven't already done Old Hillsbad Foothills and Black Mirage, then I recommend you to do this when you're leveling. If you do these 2 dungeons, then you will also get reputation with Keep of Time, and it's going to be so easy to reach Honored. When you reach Honored, you can also buy some level 70 blue rewards. And if you plan to tank, this faction will also give you a hidden enchant. Because I was already in Caverns of Time and now level 70, then I decided to try to find these NPCs. Here you can pick up a quest at level 70 for Mount Hyjal, or well, it's the attunement for Mount Hyjal. The quest takes place in the 2 raids, the tier 5 raids, SSC and Tempest Keep. Here you will need to slay both of the final bosses and loot an item. But yeah, now I'm level 70, what will I do next? Well, first I did head to my trainer to learn all the spells. And next I would use my Heartstone back to Shattered City. In Shattered City, I decided to check the daily heroic and daily dungeon quest. Luckily, the daily heroic quest was for a qualifying dungeon, and because I was already revered with Cenarian Expedition, then I could do this quest. So at this point, I've already done my daily heroic quest, I have a total of 6 badges. I need to grind a lot more of these in order to buy some PvE epic gear, but this I will definitely continue to do. Besides doing heroics and dungeons, then I also decided to do battlegrounds. Later today I have a raid, and I need to get as great gear as possible before the raid start. Because I spent 4 hours doing battlegrounds, but also because I'd spent a few hours doing battlegrounds when I was leveling and doing my daily quest, then I could easily purchase an epic item. So I went to Stormwind City to purchase these boots. 30 minutes later, it was time to do SSC. Because SSC and Tempest Keep attunements has been removed, then I could get right into tier 5 content. Another reason for why I could head right into tier 5 content is because I joined a gold bid run, or gold DKP run. So what you do whenever a loot drop, you will bid gold on this item. In order to join these raid groups, you will probably need around 1 or 2,000 gold. You don't need much gold in order to join these raids, also because a lot of these items are fairly cheap. At this point, Black Temple and Mount Hyjal has been released, so those items will be the expensive ones. Before we started doing Tempest Keep, there was also the loot distribution of the loot from SSC. I paid a total of 1400 gold for these 3 items. In my opinion, this is so cheap, also because these items will help me get into Black Temple and Mount Hyjal. In a moment, I'll show you all the items that I've got from these runs, but also in less than 9 hours of playtime at level 70. I'll also show you the gold I spent on each item and what I've earned from the gold bid run. By doing SSC, Tempest Keep and Gruul's Lair, I've got more than 2700 gold for attending this raid. Pretty much all the raid members has got this amount of gold for attending the raid, because all the gold that has been spent buying these epic items will be split between all the raid members. Alright, so now I'll show you all the items that I've got so far at level 70. I purchased the tier 5 token. It wasn't really that big of an upgrade, but I like to PvP, so I exchanged the tier 5 token for the Merciless Gloves. This was a total of 1100 gold. The belt is Bind on Equip. I purchased this on Auction House for 700 gold. The Gladiator leggings is a tier 4 token that I purchased for 250 gold. The boots, well, those I showed you earlier in this video. I purchased these for honor a bit after I hit level 70. The ring is from Lower City Exalted Reputation, and this I purchased the moment I hit level 70. The other ring is from SSC, this I paid a total of 400 gold for. The trinket that I use, well, this is the booster trinket at level 58, really bad, but I haven't been able to get another one yet. And the other trinket is from Hellfire when you do a few group quests. The Liberand I got at level 58 when I boosted this character. And then we have this axe. I purchased this on Auction House for 150 gold. These bracers I paid a total of 250 gold for. This is from Gruul's Lair. And the chest piece, well, that's from Lower City Honored. I could purchase this the moment I hit level 70. The Cloak of Darkness is Bind on Equip, and I purchased this on Auction House for 600 gold. The shoulders I purchased for 600 gold, and the neck 400 gold. Both of these you get in SSC. The headpiece I purchased for 400 gold. So yeah, overall, by attending the raid, I got 2700 gold. So in this case, I could have spent 2700 gold, 3 hours of my time raiding, and I would have lost no gold, but just have got a lot of different epic items. So definitely worth it in this case. Beside this, I've also completed the attunement for Mount Hyjal, so now I can start doing some of the tier 6 content in the game. So what I will be doing next is definitely to focus on my daily heroic, my daily battleground, and probably also work on my proficiency. Beside that, I also need to finish my Black Temple attunement so I can do all the tier 6 content in the game. Another important thing will be to do 10 arena games every single week. When you do these games, you will eventually get some arena points, and these arena points you can use to purchase different armor types, but also different kind of weapons. So yeah, that's about it for this character and the journey so far. I'll continue to play this character and maybe even post a part 2 in the future. Nonetheless, I'm also trying to work on my preparation for Wrath of the Lich King and also my investments, so make sure to stay tuned for those videos. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and have an awesome day. Peace.